You're listening to the REI Marketing Nerds Podcast, the leading resource for real estate investors who want to dominate their market online. Dan Barrett is the founder of AdWords Nerds, a high-tech digital agency focusing exclusively on helping real estate investors like you get more leads and deals online, outsmart your competition, and live a freer, more awesome life. And now, your host, Dan Barrett.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're listening to the second part of last week's episode. Let's jump back in.
I think I want to dig in just a little bit to the cleaning company, the facilities kind of management company. You start with your mom's vacuum cleaner, which I love.
My mom's vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I hope at some point you bought your poor mother like a new vacuum cleaner.
I did, man. I drove that thing into the ground. It had on an extension cord. It was so freaking. I gave it back to her. She looked at it and she said, "Are you kidding me?" So bad. I said, "No, Mom, I can't do that." I went out and got her a new one. I used that thing for like a year.
Oh my God, I love that so much. So the thing that strikes me about that, right? So you grew this company, it became really successful, right? You got 1,000 employees, which just makes me break out in hives to think about. Like, that's a lot, right? So it's a lot.
A lot.
But the thing that strikes me about that is that cleaning a building, sort of by definition, is not a business that's got a built-in moat, right? Like, you're not a software company where you're like, we've got this advantage that no one else can get. Anybody can come and compete with you to clean the building, right?
Correct.
So why do you think, or what do you attribute the success of your company to? It sort of strikes me as this business model where you're always going to have competition because it's hard to differentiate. So how did you get around that? And what do you think was the cause of your growth?
I have a simple answer for that. So, a lot of people try to brand themselves as a market disruptor. In other words, you've got some special sauce.
Right.
You got a special intellectual property or a special sauce. I think market disruptors are outstanding. Uber is a market disruptor. So they came in and disrupted that market because they had a new thing, a new piece of intellectual property, IP. But what happens if you're just doing the same Jane as everybody else? How do you differentiate yourself? Because I had a facilities maintenance company and every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing the same thing. So how is it that I'm going to make a path to success in an industry that is widely already saturated?
Right.
Man, two things. It's carried me so far. And I know this is going to sound really passé. I'm telling you, man, two things. Number one, I operate with a huge amount of character and integrity. Always do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Always do the freaking right thing when people aren't watching. Always. I have 3 kids and a wife, so it's really pretty simple. I always do the right thing. So if your character integrity is there, number one, you've already wiped out a portion of your competition already. Look people in the eye, shake their hand, do the right thing, and always be truthful about it. So my cleaning business was I had master keys to Target. We never stole, we never lied, we never cheated. Number two, man, this has been my biggest success secret. I eat really well. I eat vegetables and I eat meats. I set my alarm early and I wake up and I exercise and I go at it every single day. I eat my lunch at my desk. It comes from a refrigerator that's right behind me. So every single day, if you wake up early than your competition and you get some exercise in, you eat right and come to work and grind every minute of that day, eat your lunch at your desk, you'll move farther than your competition because just being honest, man, most Americans are pretty lazy right now. So if you want to go shopping and fart around for long lunches, take an hour and a half and float around in the afternoon and all this kind of crap, your path to success is not going to be there. If you're willing to get up at 6:15 and get some fitness in and eat right in the morning, like cottage cheese and fruit, and then to have a decent lunch, but eat it at your desk, and you're willing to grind all day long and put in a 10 to 12 hour day, you are going to outstrip your competition in a large way. By that same token, always do what you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And so I know that sounds so, a lot of people are going to roll their heads and roll their eyes. I'm telling you, man, I could have made a lot more money, by being a little bit scrupulous or a little bit dishonest. We just do the right thing. I had an escrow company 3 years ago. 3 years ago, our bank account's off $163,000. We cannot find it. We looked everywhere. It goes on for 3 weeks.
You can't find the bank account?
We can't find out how we have $163,000 deposit in our account. And so because we reconcile every single month.
Yeah,
we have an in-house CPA. We have an in-house CPA. We reconcile every. So we're looking everywhere. We cannot find out where is this traced to. I'm thinking. Then it dawns on me on a Saturday. Really odd. I had a transaction that was $163,273 loan on a property. I remember that number. I come down to our office on a Saturday and I dig out the red file, and this property that had a loan on it for $163,279. I'm making up that number now because I don't really remember, but it was a very unique number, and our deposit matched. Escrow and title had sent the money to us in error. It actually belonged to a lender down in Calabasas, California. We cut a check and we sent it to that person. That was not our money. It was $163,000.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have kept that money, but it's not my money. So 2 things. Just do the right thing. Yeah, man, you might make a few less dollars, but it sure is a lot better lifestyle. When you run into somebody at an Applebee's and they look at you, they look at me, they can at least know I did the right thing. And then number 2, seriously, eat right, get some fitness in, wake up early. You've beat 75% of your competition already there. So how I look at it, because your question has been asked before. What's your path to success? Flipping $100 million and lending $1 billion and building this company from $17 to 500 employees. Grind, man. Grind. I don't have a PhD. It's grind. It's 6:15 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. Get your fitness and your diet on target. Stay away from excessive alcohol. Don't smoke. Sounds so stupid, but that's really the trick, man. And then just do the right thing by people. And you'll be on the top. I will tell you, you will be in the top 5% of any industry anywhere if you just stick to those premises. So I don't have a market disruptor. I don't have a unique concept or a unique software. I'm doing the same thing everybody else does. Well, how are you so much better? Because we do the right thing. My CPA does the right thing, who's in-house. Our staff accountant does the right thing, and our director of business operations does the right thing. And that's how we roll. And then we wake up earlier than everybody else. I'm the first one in this office. I'm the last one to leave, and lunch is at my desk. So grind it away and you'll get there. Finding a market disruptor, I think, to be very candid with you, is really, really tough.
Yeah.
You got to find that one needle in the haystack. I'm not smart enough to be the founder of Uber or the next new app that comes out. I just don't have that ability. I just don't. So the only way I got there was to grind and for God's sakes, eat right and exercise. Nothing is worse than being, overweight and eating junk food and then trying to get through your day. You can feel it coming out of your pores. So try to eat right, get some exercise, drink lots of water. You're going to feel so much energized to try to get through that day. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to be a market disruptor or develop the next app or be the next Uber or be the next Amazon. I'm not that good. And second of all, there's 100 failures for every one of those successes. I think if you constantly chase that, I think you might be in for a life of unsatisfaction. Pick what you like to do, man. You want to be a gardener? I was cleaning buildings. You want to be a flipper? Pick what you want to do. But for God's sakes, don't sleep until 9:30. Don't eat junk food. Get at it every day. Be the first one out of bed, the last one home. And for God's sakes, do the right thing, and you'll be okay.
Well, so first of all, I love that. I'm a big fan of the Warren Buffett saying, if it's trite, it's right. So the fact that you're saying, it's like, people roll their eyes at this. They want some new kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, best advice is not typically new, right? You've usually heard it before. But so let me transition this, because we've been talking about kind of your past.
Yeah, Warren Buffett, simple, boring stuff. Dairy Queen, Coca-Cola, Walmart, right?
But well executed every time, right?
Exactly.
So I want to transition that kind of thought process to Zinc as it is today. So zincinvesting.com, we talked about zincfinancial.com, it's like the lending arm, zincinvesting.com, the sort of fund. Now, the thing that strikes me about that story right, and it's kind of the same with the facility management company as it must be with Zinc and your kind of financial businesses, in that it's one thing for you to have those character traits or those habits. But for example, if you have 1,000 employees, you're not always the one turning the key in the target at night, right? You've got to build a company culture where it's not just you that has the ethics, but your employees have the ethics. And the same thing with the fund that you run or your lending arm, you've got to have people who really internalize your thought processes about
your vision
risk
and your mission.
Yeah. So
You've got to be a magnet.
So get into that. Like, how do you build a company that reflects those values in that way? Because you've done it multiple times now.
So you have bought 5 companies, sold one, and obviously we're building this out. It is absolutely mission critical that, see, here's the thing, man. It's really easy to make a sandwich. It's easy. Anybody can make a sandwich. It's really easy to manage one Subway sandwich shop. It's easy. You just wake up, you got one oven, one cash register. So it's easy to make a sandwich. It's easy to do the trade. It's easy to do the trade and have a couple of people report to you. That's easy. That's one Subway. How do you get, and here's where the scale fails for so many people. How do you get from one Subway to 10 Subways to 100 Subways? That's the execution that drops off exponentially for everybody out there, even people listening to the show.
Right.
Everybody can go make a sandwich. That's an 8-hour day. Anybody can go to work for 8 hours a day, and anybody can probably run one Subway. It's scaling that's very hard. You have got to be a magnet to attract good talent. And so how do you do that? I'm back to those things. Do what you say you're going to do. Be that successful vision. Make sure that your vision is exponentially clear and attract the right people. You have got to find those people through a recruiter or whatever to be able to join your team that share those same mantras. They have to. And so I'm very quick at terminating people who do not parallelly align with those things. I have fired people for stealing a stapler. It's $3. It doesn't matter. Your vision, your integrity, your character, and what you want to be does not align with me. So I fired her over a stapler. I also had a girl here that ran up a $3,500 bill on using the wrong password and login for Fidelity National Title to check some property profiles. Because she used the wrong password on our password list, she actually used the one where we got charged. And in 2 days, she ran up a $3,500 bill. But I kept her and I said, no problem. And she was shocked. She just cost me $3,500. No problem, because your intent is not to be disingenuous. Your character and integrity is not questioned. Your intent was actually to help the company row in the same direction as everybody else and do the right thing. So your intent is to do the right thing, but check the program. You just made an error and put in the wrong password. I can deal with that all day long. If you want to come here to my company and make a mistake, and it's $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, I can actually get over that really quickly. What I can't get over is somebody who steals a stapler with intent to steal something for self-enrichment that does not align with my values. So I'm very, very careful on who I bring on my team. You've got to share the vision, and you've got to share that culture. And I'm very quick to terminate if those values are broken. To get from one Subway to 10 Subways, you've got to have a team, and you got to have a team of leaders. It goes like this. You have staff, supervisors, managers, and then you've got your C-class or your leaders. I'm going to say that one more time. You've got staff, then supervision, then management, and then leaders or the C-class. The leaders are really critical. You've got to attract good, solid talent at the upper level that can help you build out those other 10 Subways. Otherwise, you're dead in the water. So those people, through Recruiter or however, LinkedIn, however, you got to find them and attract them. And they're watching too. They're watching because they're good. So they have options out there. So they're only going to join a company or a team that shares the same visions. And those visions are got to be crystal clear. And the crystal clear visions are our integrity is first, our character's first. Are we going to do the right thing at all times? We're going to work hard and grind it out. And so that person is absolutely necessary in order to get to the next level.
Want to find motivated seller leads online, but don't know where to start? Download our free Motivated Seller Keyword Report today. AdWords nerds have spent over $5 million this year researching the most profitable keywords for finding motivated seller leads. And you can grab these exact keywords when you download our report at www.adwordsnerds.com/keywords.
I end up asking this question of pretty much everyone that comes on this show, which just tells you that this is my selfish preoccupation. But my question is, I'm totally with you. I think that's such an inspiring, it itself is an inspiring vision of how you build a company, right? You build it values first, build it from the values up. As a business coach of mine once said, you hire, lead, and fire to the vision of the company, right? So all these things, it really resonates with me. But my question is, like, when you are hiring, how do you listen for those values? Because my experience is typically, I'm like a very trusting person. And so if I get on a Zoom call and Todd, I don't know you, and Todd, you're like, you look, these are all my values. I'm 100% in. I'm like, great.
You really don't know.
Yeah. It's very hard to tell, right? So is it just, you got to get them in the door, watch them like a hawk, and just like you said, be able to fire.
So here's what we do. When we go to retain talent, this is what we do. And I'm letting out secrets out of the bag. No trouble.
No one listens to this podcast. So
So what we do to make sure that we're getting good, clean talent, candidly, is we start looking at their resume and starting to question their roles in the past. We get them on site. They must do this face to face. We get them in the boardroom, and there's always a 3 or 4 panel person. So we have 3 or 4 of us talking to this candidate. We try to get them comfortable enough to have free-flowing conversation. And we're trying to look at their historical job functions. We're asking prodding questions to see if there's any loopholes or inconsistencies in their past scenarios. Once we have a couple of red flags, we know we have to dig deeper. So number one, we call them in and it's personal. We don't email and we don't phone them. We will fly you in, you will come here, and you will sit with us.
Yeah.
And we always ask prodding questions over their history. Then number 2 is we usually take them to get something to eat.
Yeah.
You could pick up on a lot of attributes by taking somebody to some chicken wings and an iced tea or a beer.
That is really fascinating. I think that's really true.
Then we take them to some food, because then they think they're done with the interview. Oh, no. Oh, no.
This is the real interview. This is
the real interview. How do you treat the waiter? How do you treat the waitress?
Yeah.
How do you text your wife on that cell phone? So we're a team of 3 or 4 assessing this person over chicken wings and a beer, as well as the boardroom. They think they're all relaxed. They took off their jacket. They took off their glasses. They think they're done. We're watching you every minute of the minute. How do you interact at a restaurant with chicken wings and a beer? How do you interact in person in our boardroom? And then finally, we do a full background check. We do a full credit review. Then we're probably 65 to 75% what we got. Like, we ran their credit. We ran a full background check, criminal, misdemeanor, everything. We have asked them all about their past working history in that boardroom, and we're looking for body language or inconsistencies in storytelling. And then we took them to chicken wings and a beer, which really isn't chicken wings and a beer, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Right. Yeah.
We've assessed them. We are right about 80% of the time at that point. When we get them in here and they start working, we're about 95 after 90 days.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We don't hire off of the resume. That's just a tool that we get to ask a bunch of questions on to see if you're being truthful and character driven, and if there's holes in that history. And so we don't check references. Oh my gosh, that's the number one thing you should do. No. Charles Manson has 3 good references. Everybody has 3. You can be a San Quentin. penitentiary. You've got 3 people there that'll like you, that'll pick up the phone. So references don't work because everybody has a good reference. Those don't work for us. I'm against reference checks because everybody can put down a name and a phone number, somebody that likes you. So our biggest cue is interviewing, poking holes in the resume, taking them to get something to eat, and then running full background for a credit check. That's how we try to attract our talent. Because again, to get to 10 subways, we have to get the top.
Yeah, I love that, man. I think I personally am going to clip that part of the interview and like just replay it a bunch, because it's the number one place that I personally mess up as a business owner. And I know that, right? I know it's a weak point. So just having that framework, I think, is so valuable. I really want to ask you, because I know we're coming up on time. I don't want to keep you super late, but you're doing, like you said, 5 businesses, right? We've got Zinc Income or zincinvesting.com. We've got zincfinancial.com. You get these 2 big kind of things you're working on. That's not even all of it. We're just dealing with specifically the parts that we think are appealing most to real estate investors. You got a lot going on. I'm really curious for you now, coming from that moment when you're in the truck with $17 to your name to now, when it comes time for you to set new goals or to think about the stuff that you want to do from here, is it different for you now? It has your focus shifted? Is it the same as it ever was? It's just keep growing and get bigger and bigger. Like, I'm really curious how your mind looks at goal setting and ambition at this point in your life. Because you've obviously, for most people, I think if they got where you are, they would feel pretty good about just like dusting their hands off and being like, great job, right? Like, I did it.
So that's so fascinating. How do your goals change? Amazing question. So when I'm broken on welfare and I have $17 in my pocket, my goal is to freaking get enough to fill up my gas tank. So my goals at that time were survival to the next day. So my goals then were just, I need $100. I'm just trying to get through to Friday. Then I had some goals, which I have grown out of. And everybody goes through this phase. You're 21, you're 20, you're 24. Here's your goals. I want a new car. I want a new boat. I want new watches and clothes and all this, what I seriously call crap. You know, I had one of the largest homes in Clovis, Fresno. I had a red Lamborghini with custom stitching, and I had a convertible red Lamborghini. I had the diesel pusher motorhome. I had multiple motorcycles. I sold everything. I got everything. I moved to a smaller house. So I don't demonetize that. If you want that new Rolex watch, you should work for the new Rolex watch. For me, in my 20s, I was so broken on welfare that my goals were very materialistic. But here's what happens. As you mature in age, which is where I'm at now, those things mean a lot less to you. They're just stuff, man. And so I have no desire for the Lamborghini. I had it. I got a lot of tickets in it, and I'm out of that phase. And I don't have any goals for stuff, but I have some major goals today. And my goals shift again as you mature in age. So my goals today are to build an outstanding company with a good team. I want to build to 100 million a year, and I'm on track to do that. But it's not about monetary or money for me. It's about personal satisfaction to build something that I can be proud of, where I contribute to society and my team is well taken care of. I'm also, I have new goals that are even outside of that. And so these seem weird, but I am a mountain biker and I'm a road biker, and I have a goal of constantly trying to improve on the next climb on my mountain bike. And I did a 105-mile road bike ride 2 weeks ago. So my goal is to get through that without camping. So my goals have changed. You know, when I was younger, it was about salvation. I just wanted gas money and food money. And then I got into this phase, which I think is kind of natural, especially if you're broke. I want the Corvette. I want the Lamborghini. I want the motorhome. I want the biggest house. I want the best shoes, Nike shoes. And everybody goes through that phase. And I went through that phase. So I go to the carnival. I got the t-shirt at the carnival. Now what? What you realize is all that stuff is relatively meaningless. It really is, man. It's just stuff. And so a lot of people that are multimillionaires or very heavy, they don't have some of that stuff because they realize it's true. It's just stuff. So it just it really does kind of become old after a little bit. So I don't have a lot of those things. I drive a 2020 white GMC pickup truck. That's what I drive. And so My goals are no longer monetary per se or material per se. My goals today as a more matured person is about developing a great company, getting to 100 million with great people. And then I have some soft goals of being a better mountain biker and a better road biker. So I think that answers your question, that it's not money at this point anymore. Look, you can only eat so much steak, and you can only drive one car. And your house, how much house do you need? And I know that sounds, it's just, do you really need a 12,000 square foot house? You don't really need that. And you really don't. And so buying the expensive $300 sunglasses and $300 shoes, does that really make you that much happier? It doesn't for me. So my jeans that I have on today are probably $70, and my shoes are probably, I know where I got these. They're $30. And my truck is a 2020 white GMC truck out there. And so that's who I am. And so my goals are to build a great company, but not necessarily a monetary gain. Because again, you can only spend so much, people. Once you have your house, a few other things, which I have, the rest of it just becomes stuff that you got to insure, maintain, and keep track of. So my goals are different today. It's to build a great company, $100 million, take care of my investors, make sure they're rewarded well. That's where we want to be. And hopefully I'm a better mountain biker and a better road biker as a result as well.
Well, Todd, I'm going to end it there because I think that is such a cool way to stop it. I know this was a conversation went all over the place, but I know I got a ton out of it. I really appreciate you sharing your expertise. We've talked about Zinc Investing, which again is ZINC investing.com. And we talked about
ZincInvesting.com. Z as in zebra, I as in igloo, N as in Nancy, C as in cat. ZincInvesting.com is our investor portal for investors out there that are high net worth that want to invest in real estate, but they don't want to own it and manage it and deal with it. 8 to 9% returns, consistent, fully secured. ZincInvesting.com. Reach out to us if you want. 559-326-2509. And of course, if you're a real estate investor and need some cash for a construction loan or fix and flip loan, zincfinancial.com.
Awesome. Well, Todd Pigott, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. I know our listeners do too. So thank you so much.
I hope I changed somebody's life today. Have an amazing afternoon. Thanks for inviting me on here and having me be a part of your show today.
That is it. That's it for our interview this week. As always, if you want to know more about the show or more about me, you can go over to AdWordsNerds.com. That is ADWORDS nerds.com. We've got an active blog. All the podcast episodes are up there. You can get show notes and all that fun stuff. I do all sorts of guides. I've got the ultimate guide to PPC for real estate investing, over 40,000 words long. It took me like 6 months to write. Honestly, better than pretty much anybody else's paid course. I don't want to pat myself too hard on the back. Might hurt myself, but I got to say it is pretty good. So head over to AdWordsNerds.com. You can get all that stuff for free. No signups required. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here every week. It means a lot to me. And I will be talking to you very soon. Cheers.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.